Well, we're here a day before the championship race in Slovakia. All the bikes are racked up here in transition. And one of my favourite things to do is actually take a look through some of the age group bikes. They're not restrained by sponsors or anything like that. We get all sorts of weird and wonderful stuff. So let's take a little look around. Well, this is definitely something you don't see in the pro ranks. This is a Look 596. This is a pre-2010 bike here. And pretty revolutionary for its time because the fork is integrated all the way through to the stem region, and that's where things get really crazy because the stem is actually split in two. It connects on like a pivot point here, so you can completely change the height of the stem. So I guess really optimizing your position and just making this bike really versatile and giving you a lot of options with your position. And also just crazily thin here. This person seems like they're a bit of a Look fan because they've actually got some slightly newer cranks on there where you can change the actual crank length. So it's got like a 3-point system with that. Bottle cage is a Look. I'm imagining, well, they're actually German, not French, so that's thrown me. Well, you might be worried about buying a bike and making it fit for yourself. Well, Roman here has proved us all wrong because he has practically got some scaffolding here. You could clean your windows on the top of that. But that said, obviously it is super high, so you might be worried about the pressure and the weight breaking that riser stack, which is crazy high. But he's actually got a bar going across between here to hold the two together. So yeah, actually a really clever idea. Now, a set of wheels we don't see all that often here because these are pretty old. These are the Zentis Mark 1 TT 4-spoke wheels here. Interesting fact here. Now, I think these came out somewhere around 2005. Jan Ullrich rode them in the Tour of Germany that year in the time trial. And actually, his team mechanic fitted the front one the wrong way round, costing him 20 watts. Amazingly, he still won that stage because he's an absolute animal, but he lost the overall standings by 31 seconds. Well, in all honesty, I have nothing to report here other than I just love this bike. Fantastic setup Torbjorn from Norway. You've got nice 858 on the front, a zip disc on the back, nice tan sidewalls, Canyon Speed Max. I think I'm in love. Right, now I'm not sure this is standard or you can buy this from Canyon. I think this has been homemade, a little bit of a hack, I'd say. Now they have attached what looks like a normal sort of camelback straw, so a little valve which you can turn on and off so you can close the straw or not. Yeah, really clever idea if you're worried about sort of fluid streaming out or whatever or over the bumps. This person really obviously goes to some detail with their setup because we've got some 51 Speed Shop elbow cups which aren't standard but are quite good elbow cups, and also drag to zero poles, so very nice work there. Right, loads of fun stuff going on here. We've got an SMP carbon saddle up here, which obviously sounds horrific, but apparently, I don't know from personal experience, but apparently they are meant to be quite good. We've also got 650C wheels. So on the back here, we've actually got a lightweight 650C disc wheel, and on top of that, a 19mm tyre, which you don't see all that often. Well, number 2509, which is Eckhart from Germany, attracted me in here because he's got a homemade disc wheel. Big fan of that one, Eckhart. But whilst I was looking at that, I've noticed a few extra cool things on this bike. We've got a 3D printed storage box on the down tube of his Cervelo. Fits perfectly with the bottom shape of that frame. So whether he's had that made himself or not, I don't know, but very impressive. And then whilst I was looking at that, I've also noticed that he's got this tri-rig braking system on the front and the rear, which isn't standard with the bike, so he's obviously had that fitted himself. But this guy obviously likes a little bit of homemade DIY and a bit of hacks. Well, there are tons of disc wheels here in the age group transition and obviously the pro transition, but this one stood out to me because I've not seen this before, and some viewers out there may be shocked at me, but Quipper, I don't know quite how you say it, but the bit that stood out quite significantly was this embossed section on either side of the disc wheel. Not entirely sure what it's for, but obviously it goes with the flow of the wheel, so I'm going to take a stab in the dark here, that it's actually to disperse the pressure from the wheel rather than you getting that build-up of pressure on the disc wheel. It sort of follows that embossed section and disperses that pressure. At least that's what I think, maybe. I don't know. Now, the cool thing with SRAM Red ETAP is that you can put blips wherever you like on your bike. And when we did a pro bike with Sebastian Kienle, I was quite impressed actually to find that he put the E-tap blips underneath the aero bar rather than having them on the end of the poles. I'd not seen that before, and actually I'd never seen anyone do that since. But Eric, number 2330, has done just that. He's got them in exactly the same position as Sebastian Kienle. Sebi said it was quite nice for when he's going up on the hills, he sort of almost pulls back on them, has his hands slightly lower down on the aero bar, so they're in a perfect spot for him there. But yeah, really cool. And whilst we're here looking at this bike, actually, worth me mentioning, this guy has actually racked his bike by the brake levers, whereas next to him you'll see it's racked by the saddle. Obviously, by the saddle is really quick to take that bike out on race day. But as you'll find with a lot of races, you have to rack your bike the night before, and you might worry that your bike's going to sway around in the wind, as you can see some of these bikes in the distance doing. So, good option is to rack it by the brake levers if you want to, and then on the race morning just flip it around, so it's just a limited amount of time where it might be swaying around. Just stumbled across this one. This is the Muzzy team, so it's obviously a relay. You've got a rental sticker on your bike, mate. Hope it's not hour by hour. Well, I cannot pass by this bike without taking a closer look. This is the Cat Cheetah bike, which, well, this is like 30 years on and this bike is still going strong. I've actually just had to chase some of the officials off because they were standing on this bike wondering whether it's actually still legal. Natasha Badman actually rode this back in, I think it was 1996 when she won the World Duathlon long distance title. It is a work of art, totally revolutionary for its time. Pretty impressive. Well, this is quite something. Enrico has made his own aero cover going over the stem and onto the top tube area. It's a real piece of work. It's fantastic. He's actually put 3T stickers on. He's trying to fool us all there. But actually underneath here, he's got one of the negative degree or negative angle stems. It's a Ritchie stem, so really low on the front, and his face is almost brushing the tyre here. But yeah, he's obviously gone to a lot of detail. He's gone sandpaper on the top here. He's got rid of all the bar tape. So yeah, actually a really aero looking machine. Well, this weirdly just caught my eye as I was wandering past. This is just a Cervelo P3, but on top we have something called a Gorilla Grip, and this is made by Pro Elite. I'm going to take an absolute stab in the dark here. I have no idea what it's for, but it looks like you can just open up these little ratchets here and put maybe gels in there, so you can put the tab of the gel in there, lock them down, and all you have to do is, just rip the gel out and off you go. Well, Keith, this is a bit of a vintage machine here. A Roberts bike, not sure quite how old it is, but also with some Cinelli bars on the front, which, well, serious work of engineering going on there, all sorts of welding stuff. Definitely wouldn't want to be hit by them. Also noticed, got a Garmin mount on your top tube here, and also a Cat-Eye bike computer on the front there. Really doesn't want to miss the opportunity to upload that to Strava, hey? Well, we also have a very nice limited edition Zip Super 9 disc in a nice yellow colour. But whilst we're here, also notice this saddle here. This is by a brand called Dash. You don't see these very often. Very unique in their design, but I've heard very good things about it. Fully carbon throughout, even for the rails, and then just a nice little bit of padding here. But if you are struggling with saddles, apparently they are quite a good option. Well, another disc wheel cover here on a standard set of wheels. I'm not sure this is actually a homemade disc wheel cover. This has actually got a slight groove here as if it's been made, and I can see a brand name on there saying Draken or Dragon, but still really cool that someone's doing that. But whilst we're here, I also spotted something quite interesting on the saddle here. This is actually Velcro on the top of their saddle. So I think what they're doing is they put the other side of the Velcro on their suit. But interestingly, this is the soft bit of Velcro, which would mean the harsh bit of Velcro is on their suit. I'm not sure that was the right way around, in my opinion. Well, this has really caught my attention. This is Anne's bike. She's riding a Fuji, but she's got the Pro Missile handlebar aero bar combo on her bike. And I mean, I remember this from years back when, and it is insane. I absolutely love the look of it, and it really does look like a missile. We've got this dropped base bar, and then the aero bars are pretty much flush with the top of the stem, with the elbow pads as well. I mean, it's very different from what a lot of people are doing these days with the ski bends, but it is so clean looking. Well, this is a bit of a homemade hack here. I really like this actually, because quite often it's really hard to find a space for your bike computer once you've got all your hydration setup and whatnot on there. So what these people have done is managed to get a piece of metal, and I think they've shaped it themselves. It's got a bit of a bend in there, computer on the end of there, and then they've attached that underneath the bottle cage, so through the same bolts. Ingenious. Well, you guys certainly didn't disappoint there. We had loads of fantastic stuff. And if I did mention you today in your video or featured your bike, please do give us a shout in the comment section below and let us know about your bike or a bit more detail on it. If you guys like this video, please do hit that thumbs up button. And if you'd like to see more from GTN, just click on the globe and subscribe. And if you'd like to see our previous age group transition tour from Challenge Rot, then you can see that by clicking just down here.